Well, hello and welcome to our webinar, Add Pro to Your FM Career with the ProFM Credential. We greatly appreciate you joining us today. We'll begin the webinar content shortly, but before we do, I just want to go through a few housekeeping items. First of all, this session will be recorded. Everyone in attendance will receive an email within 5 days with both a link to the recorded session and access to an electronic version of the slides. Second, this event will include a live question and answer session at the end. To submit questions throughout the session, please type them into the Q&A panel on the right-hand side of your screen, and be sure to send your questions to all panelists. We'll be answering as many questions as time permits. If we weren't able to answer your question, we'll follow up with you directly over the next few days. So with that, I'd like to introduce our speakers today. First of all, I'm Randy Olson. I'm the Vice President of Business Development for ProFM, and I have overall responsibility for design, development, production, and distribution of the ProFM Credential program. We're honored, blessed, and very happy to have Stormy Friday with us today, and I'm sure many of you know Stormy. She really doesn't require an introduction, but I'll introduce her anyway. She has literally written the textbook on the FM profession and is globally recognized as an expert in facility management. She's the founder and president of the Friday Group, an international FM consulting firm, and is the chair of the ProFMI Commission. So welcome, Stormy, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So looking at our roadmap for where we're going today, so what I'd like to do is, at the beginning of the presentation, talk just briefly about some industry trends. And we're going to spend some time talking to an industry survey that we did just less than 12 months ago regarding the industry and education and training in the industry. So we'll spend some time on that. We'll talk about what ProFM is, and then Stormy will take us through the 24 things every facility manager should know, and also talk about advancing your FM career with the ProFM. I will take you through how you can earn it and how to become a ProFM. We'll talk about some additional resources, and as I mentioned earlier, wrap up with a question and answer period. So as we're going through, please submit your questions in the panel on the right-hand side. So in terms of trends, as I mentioned, we did a survey 12 months ago to the broad facility management market, and we had thousands of individuals respond to that survey. And I can tell you that the overriding theme that we got in terms of feedback was there's a lot of change in the industry. You know, you're supporting a huge asset with the facility, and the largest asset in an organization, the employees, and you have an integral role in attracting and retaining the best possible workforce out there. With that, there's the growth of technology and the growth of data. So there's new technologies being introduced into the facility management world, and there's a lot of data to try to analyze and get through and make good business decisions on. On the people side, you're having to work with employees on their well-being and health more than ever in environmental health and safety, making sure they're safe and secure, along with taking care of all the operations and maintenance things around your facility. So the job has gotten increasingly more complex as the industry grows. And with that, most folks have not gone to college and gotten an undergrad degree in facility management, but rather they've kind of gotten here by accident. I think there's several organizations that are trying to reach down into a younger audience and try to get folks even in high school or pre-high school interested in the facility management career. And hopefully at some point this will become a career choice for folks. That's not, frankly, where we're at today. And folks really need a single program, one credential program, one education program that can help them fill in the knowledge gaps that are required for facility managers today. So that's what ProFM is. So ProFM, first of all, it identifies those 24 things every facility manager should know. So there's 19 functional areas and 5 cross-functional competencies. This is market-driven or industry-driven. So this body of knowledge that you see at the left-hand side of the screen is really feedback that we gain from the broad facility management market and it outlines everything that the FM needs to know. And that body of knowledge makes up the basis for everything we do around developing the content and delivering the program for ProFM. So again, body of knowledge is the basis of everything. It's those 24 things that every FM needs to know. The program then, the ProFM Credential program then teaches everything within that body of knowledge. It's delivered as a manageable program. You can go through in logical bite-sized chunks to proceed through the program. And it's one program, not 3, not 10. It's one single program that addresses all the knowledge, skills, behaviors that a facility manager needs to do today to be a competent facility manager. And then last, through the ProFM, you can demonstrate that you've gained that knowledge, you've gained that competency, and demonstrate that to your organization and that to the industry that you've acquired a recognized and independently industry-driven credential. So again, to recap, creates a common framework through that body of knowledge and standard that defines what FM skills are required today, provide training to help both individuals and organizations identify those gaps, and then third, demonstrate that by gaining an unbiased and independent global credential. So if we firmly believe here at ProFM that if we bring the industry together, bring organizations together, FM professionals together, the top thought leaders in the industry together, we all win. And with that, through that organization, through that bringing all those folks together, we really define the relevant knowledge and competencies for the profession. Fill in the knowledge gaps through the training and the education, and then recognize FM professionals who have achieved the global ProFM standard. So I've touched a couple of times on the survey that we did just 12 months ago. So we had over 3,300 respondents to the survey, and to give you some flavor for how detailed this survey was, to get through it kind of start to finish, it took about 45 minutes of time at the very least. Some of you on this webinar today may have gone through that survey. But as I talked about earlier, kind of the overriding theme of that was the job has significantly changed, particularly over the last 5 years. In addition, some flavor to that, we got respondents from 93 different countries across 21 different industries. There were 1,900 unique companies. And 89% of those, again, indicated that their FM responsibilities have grown over the last 5 years. We presented in that survey a base or draft body of knowledge that our Credential Commission put together last summer. And 95% of those that responded said that those functional areas and cross-functional competencies in the survey were complete for how they take care of their job. So again, out of this then, we created that ProFM body of knowledge, which is the foundation and the basis for everything we do within ProFM. So what I'd like to do now is turn control over to Stormy, and she's going to walk through the 24 things every FM needs to know, and also walk through the benefits of the program. So with that, I'll let you take it over from here, Stormy.
Thanks, Randy. As Randy alluded to previously, the heart of the FM Credential program really boils down to 24 things that we believe every facility management professional should know. And in fact, our body of knowledge has been grouped the way FM professionals really think now and the way FM professionals function. And so those 24 things are grouped essentially into 4 critical overarching areas: into asset management, which is the term of art that everyone in facility management is using now, and it consists of everything from project management down to construction, capital planning, the kinds of things you need to know when you're carefully managing and protecting and preserving your assets. The next area is risk management, And that, of course, is a very important one now in the world of facility management. It deals with compliance standards and our environmental health and safety kinds of issues, energy management, and then, of course, security. And then business management, which is near and dear to my heart because that one deals with all of the kind of strategic and business-related things that our facility management professionals now are expected to understand, to know, and to participate in. Everything from human capital to procurement and, of course, real estate essential information. And then finally, operations and maintenance are our traditional facility management world, which is everything from technical services to work management, utility management, and space management. And then as you see on the left-hand side there, we have some cross-functional areas. These areas run across all four of our major critical areas. Communication is essential in all four of those, as is sustainability. How do we make our facilities, our assets, sustainable, not only in terms of environmental areas, but also in terms of ensuring that they support the infrastructure of the future? How do we deal with quality issues? How do we deal with innovation? And then, of course, collaboration as a team. One of the things, too, that's really essential and critical and different about the ProFM credential is that we have something called Map the Gap. And that allows you to actually take a test, compare your knowledge, skills, and abilities with the ProFM body of knowledge to see where your strengths and weaknesses are. You can rate your experience and your confidence across those 24 ProFM topics, and then you get a report back that actually shows where your strengths and where your opportunities are for improvement. It's really an exciting component of ProFM and allows you to gauge where you stand in terms of those critical knowledge, skills, and ability. So when all is said and done, what does this really do for your FM career? That's what everybody really wants to know. Well, there are two things. First, it has a tremendous impact on FM professionals. It has an appeal for everyone at different levels. If you're in the early stages of your career, ProFM allows you to build your basic facility management skills, knowledge, and abilities so that you can then be certain that you are adding value with your employers and your clients, your coworkers, everyone in your organization. If you're at the mid-career level, then it fills those gaps, and that's important. Those KSA, knowledge, skills, and abilities that you need to show how well you're doing. And then finally, if you're at the senior level in your career, it validates what you know, and that's very important for senior FM professionals because they need to know that they are current, they need to know that they may have to build a competency plan for the future, and it also allows them to have a strategic improvement program, which really is essential. So it has tremendous benefits for everyone in the FM profession. But then it also has benefit for the organization, and that's essential because employers and the organization want to know what value is added by having folks with an FM credential. And from our perspective, it really means continuous improvement. It means that there's a global standard that the organization and your staff will be able to follow. It also provides a way that you can evaluate how well your staff is doing and whether or not they are keeping on top of industry trends. It gives employers in an organization a way to develop a consistent training program knowing that it is going to fill those gaps, particularly in one of our critical areas where folks are retiring, they're moving on, and we need to make sure that we have people who are going to have the knowledge, skills, and abilities for the future. It creates a language because everyone's taking ProFM, everyone speaks the same language, and they have the same kinds of information. And then there's an ROI, a return on investment, because you can track the progress and you also can then make sure that people are completing their program and know how well they're doing. And then finally, it adds tremendous value. It's very affordable. and there are all kinds of different ways that ProFM can work with the organization in terms of pricing. So having said that, I'm going to turn it back to Randy and allow him to talk a little bit about how you become a ProFM person.
All right. Very good. Thanks, Stormy. So what I'd like to do now is talk about how to earn and how to become a ProFM. And one key point about the information that Stormy just went through, you know, it's a single program. So it's one program that covers all the relevant knowledge, skills, behaviors that a facility manager needs. So it's very broad, but it's also very deep where it needs to be based on the industry feedback to our program. So how do you get it? So we've got a very simple process for how you go through and get the ProFM. That's invest, assess, enhance, check, and earn. And I'm going to go through each one of those areas. So first of all, the program is delivered as a single program. So there's one cost to this. So there's no additional application fees. There's no additional fees as it relates to ProFM. So you buy the program and you get everything you need within that program to achieve the ProFM. To get into the program, there's no formal eligibility requirements. It's offered as a self-study or instructor-led course, and you have 12 months access to the materials. In terms of time commitment, on the typical, for the typical FM, this takes 55 to 60 hours to complete. So again, one program that's manageable, built such that you move through in a manageable and logical way in bite-sized chunks. If you were to take this in the classroom, that course instruction is about 40 hours of classroom time. All right, so again, one cost for the entire program, no additional fees for ProFM. Next then is assess. So when you get into the program and you open up the online tools, you'll have access to a pretest, and that pretest will tell you how you line up against those 24 things that every FM needs to be competent in. And it will identify those gaps where you need to spend the most of your time studying to fill in your particular knowledge gaps. You then enhance your FM knowledge by reviewing the online or printed reading materials and then check your knowledge along the way. So as you're going through the program, there's end-of-chapter quizzes, there's exercises, there's things that help cement that knowledge in your mind as you're moving through the program. So the ProFM, again, delivered as one program. It's 3 unique parts delivered as a single program. So reading materials, online interactive tools, and then the final assessments are built right into that platform. And then last, it's earn. So the final assessments are built right into the platform. So you've got the reading materials, you've got the online interactive tools, and then the testing is built right into the same online platform where you log in to get access to the online tools. There's 2 exams. So there's a knowledge-based multiple choice exam of 75 questions, and then there's a situation-based multiple choice question test. Each of those, you get 90 minutes to get through, to complete those. You need to pass with 70% or better to achieve the ProFM credential. So again, knowledge-based exam, that's pure knowledge recall out of the content, and then situational-based questions, because we believe it's not only what you know, but how you then apply that to real-world examples. Once you've achieved 70% on both of those exams, you submit your final results online to receive your official designation and your certificate. Okay, so then we also believe it's important to stay current, and we require that every 3 years you renew your ProFM credential, and you need to submit 45 renewal credits in that 3-year period of time to stay current on the ProFM. And there's several ways in which you could do that. You could write a white paper, you could work in the profession, you can run a project, you could attend the NFMT conferences and achieve renewal credits in that way. So there's many ways, and it's very manageable to do that. But again, it helps you stay current on the ProFM knowledge and material with the credential. So there is a 45 renewal credits required every 3 years. All right, so then in terms of how you get this and how you proceed through the program is really based on how you best learn. So there's learning options designed to meet kind of every need out there. The first of which is a self-study program. So you acquire the program, again, one cost for that program, and you proceed through those reading materials, use the online interactive tools to proceed through the program. You check your progress along the way, and when you're prepared to do so, when you've gained the knowledge and you're prepared to apply that knowledge to the exams, you take those exams and move through. So that's done completely on your schedule, on your pace, really from any place. Those exams, again, and those online tools are delivered through a website, and any internet browser, any computer, anywhere gets you access to those. So self-study is one of the ways you can proceed through. If you're the type of learner that best learns in a classroom, whether that be physical classroom or a virtual instructor, there's instructor-led courses available. So you not only get the benefit of the reading materials, the online tools, but you also have the benefit of learning from an experienced instructor and also learning from everybody else in the class. So it gives you the opportunity to network with the instructor and learn great things from the instructor, but also learn from everybody else in the class and go through class activities and group activities and have discussion in the class about best practices, about how to best do things in the facility management industry. So you get those same tools, so the same reading materials, the same online interactive tools, and then the assessments. So you get that same package, but you have the added benefit of the instructor. Now, if you're a group or organization that would like to go through this together, you know, as Stormy talked about during her time, it really helps you establish that common language and that common skill base by going through ProFM. So you can go through this together as a study group, or you could bring in a ProFM qualified instructor and go through an instructor-led format. And that instructor would be able to tailor that specific to your organization using the base ProFM materials. If you would like to go through with 2 or more, there's volume and discount pricing for groups of 2 or more, but it's an excellent way for an organization to bring everybody together, get everybody on the same page, get a common language, a common understanding for everybody's role within the facility management organization. So there's multiple ways to go through the ProFM based on how you best like to learn. To kind of recap that section, there's one price for everything. It's shipped as reading materials. Those reading materials are delivered electronically. If you'd optionally like to get them in print, you can choose to get printed books shipped to you. There's online interactive tools, which have all the tools that enhance the learning in the reading materials, and then the final assessment are built right into the program. And again, delivered as one program, one price, one credential that covers everything you need to know, and designed such that you can logically and manageably go through that program. Now, if you'd like to attend a class, we do have one upcoming in Las Vegas at NFMT Las Vegas. So in addition to all the great educational content and all the great sessions and all the vendor expo at NFMT Vegas, you could also couple that with a two-day live instructor-led course at the show. So that would allow you to advance your knowledge and skills and get down the path of earning the ProFM credential. As we talked about earlier, there's many benefits to that, including learning from one of those qualified instructors and also networking with everybody else in your course, which allows you to expand your professional network. So be prepared to get more details around this upcoming course at NFMT Las Vegas. That is happening in early November. In addition to that, there will be a number of other colleges and universities, a number of other partners that will be delivering on instructor-led courses here this fall. So in terms of pricing, the program is priced for in really two different options. So it's online electronic copy only, or the online copy plus the optional print. The price for that is US dollars, $1,695, or for the optional print, it's an additional $50 for $1,745. For attending this webinar today, we are offering you a $100 off offer. That's good until the middle of September, and it's $100 off the program. You use the discount code WEB818 to get that discount. Additional tools, Stormy talked about this earlier. If you go to the ProFMI.org website, you'll be able to find the Map Your Gap tool, which allows you to compare your knowledge and skills to the ProFM body of knowledge. There's free tips and tools, there's white papers, there's reading material sample, and much more under free tips and tools. There's also a demo there that you can walk through. And then you can order the program right there at ProFMI.org if you'd like to, and apply that $100 discount before September 15th. So with that, I would like to open this up to questions, and we've been gathering questions kind of along the way, and we're getting. I appreciate everybody submitting questions. There's a lot of them here, so we're going to be kind of bumping up on time. We're going to go a little bit over probably, and answer as many of these as we can. We'll probably get to 4, 5, or 6. There's a lot here, so as I mentioned, we'll follow up directly with answers to that. The first question that has come in a couple of times, and I did touch on this briefly but probably wasn't clear enough, is are there prerequisites to earning the ProFM? So there's no mandatory prerequisites to get into this. There are recommendations for having a basic knowledge of facility management, maybe a related FM credential, and or work experience in an FM functional area such as O&M, asset management, risk management, or business management. So there's no mandatory requirements, but a good base understanding of FM is a good suggested way to get into this. We're getting a number of questions on the difference between ProFM and the IFMA credentials, the FMP and the CFM. So I'll break that into two kind of answers. So the FMP credential, great programs, FMP and CFM, both great programs. The FMP covers 4, which IFMA would refer to as competency areas. So it covers kind of 4 of those 24 things that the market told us every FM needs to know. So it's very narrow in scope, in breadth. It's very deep in each of those 4 areas. So quite a bit different. ProFM covers a lot more topics and has a lot more breadth than FMP. CFM is different in that CFM's broad, but CFM is really, if you think about it, it's measurement. So CFM measures you at a point in time, and effectively, if you qualify to sit for the CFM exam, you don't have to take any course to prepare for that exam. Nothing is required in terms of education to take the CFM. So if you qualify, you can go sit for the exam, and if you pass that, you're now a CFM. ProFM is education that leads to designation. So it's required to go through the program and get educated and build those knowledge, skills, and abilities to achieve the ProFM. So it's very different in terms of what they are. So hopefully that helps with all the questions as it relates to comparing to the IFMA credentials. So we've gotten a question about ProFM being recognized internationally, and the answer to that is yes, it is. It's a global credential. We were very intentional with that, and there's a couple of notes around that. First of all, a key input into the ProFM is the ISO 41000 series of standards, which is an international working group that has put together the first facility management standards out there. The gentleman that runs that group is Stan Mitchell. Stan Mitchell is one of our Credential Commission members. and has held very firm on the kind of the global nature of ProFM. So we adhere to the ISO standards, first of all, and second, we've got a commission member that has led that group. In addition, there's 2 additional members of our commission outside the U.S. So 3 of the 11 are global members of our Credential Commission, and this is now globally recognized. It's a globally recognized credential. There's a question about renewal cost. So the renewal cost will be $79 for every 3 years. So we want to make that very manageable in terms of the renewal. So you know, every 3 years you'll pay a renewal fee to achieve the to retain the ProFM credential. And I'm looking at questions as we go. How do these competencies map to the Federal Building Personnel Training Act? So the folks that are from the U.S. and in federal government, you're familiar with the FBPTA. That's a great question. So a key input into the ProFM development in the ProFM body of knowledge were the FBPTA tasks and competency statements. We are in the process of getting FBPTA approved, and we've been through the first round of the technical review of our program and have our review back to them. So we should achieve some level of approval here in the fall. So we don't have a view into what that looks like right now, but we believe we align very well with the FBPTA. There's been a couple of questions around when the instructor-led courses will be available. As I mentioned, we're running the course at NFMT Las Vegas here in the fall, and then through college and university partners, there'll be a fall schedule available here pretty soon. You know, look for, keep your eye on the profmi.org website this fall, you know, upcoming here for that schedule. And we've got a number of other questions. We're 3 minutes over, so I believe I'll take one more, and I'm getting a number of questions related to the cost of the program. So the cost of the ProFM Credential program is $1,695 for the electronic version only, or an additional $50 for the printed version. So again, one cost, one program, no additional application fee. You do have that 3-year renewal, so 3 years out you'll have a small cost under $100 to renew the program. And remember that for attending the webinar today, there's a $100 off offer that's good through the middle of September. So I believe with that, we're at almost 10:35 here, so I am going to go ahead and thank you for attending our webinar today. We greatly appreciate you giving us the opportunity to talk about ProFM. We are here to answer your questions going forward. You'll hear from us directly as it relates to your questions on this webinar that we didn't get to. And with that, I wish you the best of Thursdays, and if there's anything we can do to help, profmi.org is the place to look. Thank you very much, and have a great Thursday.